Hey folks, it's time for Tattoo TV.
Tune to television, make your decision. Tattoo TV.
All right, we're here tonight with Adrian Lee, and we're at the pre-construction party for his new shop, Analog. And we're just going to talk a little bit about what's going on in his life and how he got to this point. Just one of the things I was wondering about is, like, usually when you talk to people that are into tattoos, early in life there was something they saw that got them started on a path of tattoo. Is there anything you remember from your youth that stands out that got you thinking about tattoos?
Well, as far as what comes, I can remember like the earliest things that the earliest tattoos I saw. As far as like what got me started, really hard.
Sure,
Hard to say, you know. But I spent my really early years up in the hills, and there's a bunch of old Vietnam vets and hippies up there. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them had tattoos. So those were my first images of tattoos.
Seeing that people coming back from Vietnam.
Yeah. And then just the burnout hippies who really burned out. So it went out there.
Right.
A lot of them had tattoos, so I saw a lot of those. The first real impact I remember was that I saw Illustrated Man with my mom.
Okay, right. Ray Bradbury.
Yeah, I was like 9.
Right.
But that had it scared the shit out of me. A real impact, so.
Yeah. I think I was reading an article about you, and it was the one Hori Taka did, and he was talking about how your stepdad or dad was a minister. Mm-hmm. And when I look at a lot of your work, I see a lot of spirituality. You feel a tie-in from what you were exposed to as a kid and what you do now as an adult?
Well, my father's a spiritual person, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And it seems like a lot of people come to you for that, specifically.
Yeah, it was the type of thing when you see the type of imagery, that's what you...
Right.
That's where you think it goes.
Right. Well, I guess before it was New School, now it's Analog, and the term New School has gone through so many things over the years. Do you see anything happening in tattooing today that reflects what you might think is the New School now?
Well, there's no such thing. So when we started when we came up with that name, the whole concept was it was just a standpoint where we were coming from graffiti.
Okay.
So it wasn't a standpoint where we were like, we're the new school coming in. Mm-hmm. It was just a word that was incorporated from graffiti.
Okay.
Everywhere from there.
Right.
Personally, I don't like it being, I mean I can't do anything about it, but from a personal standpoint, I don't like it being used as an actual style because it puts you in this, like, it automatically, that just denotes now there's an old school.
Right.
So that puts you in contention with them. Mm-hmm. So, well, you might feel like you're part of something and doing something going forward, it's kind of creating animosity there. And
mm-hmm.
especially in tattooing, there shouldn't be like that old school, new school thing because anybody starting now is drawing from people who came before.
Right.
And that's one of the most important things about tattooing.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, I mean, there's new school style was everywhere, and it kind of got turned into this graffiti mash thing that people were calling new school.
Mm-hmm.
And then new school tattoo shops all over the place. So
sure.
It's almost kind of a thing that we're finally happy to be able to kind of just shed, because like it or not, it wasn't something we could disassociate ourselves with.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel any of that animosity from the old guard when you were starting out with that name and going out in the world and projecting your new style?
Oh yeah, sure. That's a lot of how I realized how I came to form that opinion. Is like when I started my shop as new school, people would assume that I was out to do something.
Right. Can you tell me anything about some of the personal art projects you've done aside from what you've done as a collective? There was the Action Reaction, is that what it was called? Can you tell a little bit about that, what that was all about, what your directive was?
First real body of work I created outside of tattooing.
Mm-hmm.
After I don't know how many years I've been tattooing, I kind of realized that I hadn't done anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had all this stuff that building up to me prior to tattooing, like all the social political stuff I used to be involved in.
Mm-hmm.
It just got sidelined.
Mm-hmm.
And then shit went down around the world and stuff got bubbled out of me, and
Right.
I just went with it. So, and that came out of it, and it was just kind of a thing that happened in the moment. I went with it, and I did it. I haven't done anything like that since then.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to like, rev myself up to do something like that again. But that project was just it was just a reaction to what was going on. Just threw it out there.
Do you find that people ask you to involve socio-political theory in their tattoos much, or do you think it's more art directed?
People ask me to a lot, especially after Action Reaction, aggressive political work. But to me, that's like the most dangerous kind of tattoo you can get. Tattoo in itself is a social political statement. You don't need to have a separate business in the head.
Right.
You really want to, but that's not necessary. You just, I think, especially in like this in the time period, like you have like a mellow time period, there's no fucking balance on us a lot. So you forget how dangerous those can be. Generally ambiguous imagery that can be used either way.
Sure.
And then in the outside creative works that do.
Sure.
So I generally personally try to avoid them and try to focus on their positive or just like the Action Reaction project. Like let us speak forward.
Sure.
About being on.
Right, exactly. So definitely it's something to consider when doing tattoos. It could be longer than the current social movement.
Yeah. Usually.
Right, exactly. I was talking with Paco earlier, and he was talking about a book he wants to get going about tattooers that have come to tattooing through the graffiti era. Do you feel that you're one of those people? And how long were you doing graffiti before you started getting into tattoos?
Well, I had been painting on walls for a while. Coming to the Bay Area, and I ended up in a studio Paco was working in. Paco was and is an amazing graffiti writer, so that absolutely swung open a door for me. Like, that let me into that culture, that subculture at the time. So, yeah, just through meeting him, I was able to get a lot more serious with graffiti stuff. And a lot of people around that, I mean, to this day, a lot of graffiti writers are becoming tattooers. Back then, before Paco and I, there was like a scene of Schmo. We're about it, seeing this from the East Coast, Schmo, Vancouver area. Paco and I were both really influenced by Schmo, so I do that. I got tattooed by him now, that's it. And from there, it just kept coming, right? And then, like me, Paco Grime, a couple of the guys, Keith. After that, a lot of people kind of came to that. That's another thing too that kind of influenced that new school denomination. So.
And it seems like, thinking back on it, a lot of work that was coming out from the people you just mentioned, at that time the tattoos were reflecting what was happening in the graffiti world.
Oh, yeah.
But it seems like as time's passed, most of those artists have started looking more to tattoos, older paintings, commercial art, things of that nature for inspiration.
Yeah, I think when all the graffiti writers started doing tattoos, they were trying to figure out how to translate that imagery onto skin. So it was only after they figured out how to do that they realized that they aren't even laid out for them beforehand. They just had to look back. I'm one of those people too.
Sure.
So yeah, a lot of people did and should look back.
So is there like something that you feel like you're on a mission of any particular type in tattooing? Are you just sort of taking it as it comes, or is there a directive you have in your mind of where you want to be in the future and how it relates to what you're doing right now? The focus your energy on where you want to be.
Well, I have plans, but I'm just kind of floating down the river to a certain degree. My only real drive is that I'm dead before I know it.
Right.
So I'm trying to get in all my legs where I can.
Sure.
That's really it.
I think that's about enough for tonight. Thanks a lot. We've been talking with Adrian Lee, starting his new project, Analog, and we're at the pre-construction party. Thanks. Thank you very much.
Always sign, that's alright, I'll be coming back. shining bright like a light through the dark.
Thanks for tuning in, and remember, tattooing is a profession, so please don't try this at home.
Going through just a few rainy days till it's blue. Walking through the rain, choking down my pain repeatedly. I need to be relaxed, but my back is always getting me. Food slips are feeding me, believe in me, and maybe we could talk. Why should I stay if you turn away to walk? Never could I be the one, but should I run from every step you make? Every breath I take is suspense. With no mistake, defense will break any fake propositions. Can't make decisions given with the living prison. My position in this life before my eyes make a change. I'm nobody till I'm dead. What I say might not be strange.